Welcome along to another video. I am That Cycling Chimp, and in this one I'm going to do a little bit of essential maintenance to the bike. If you want to see what I'm up to today, feel free to stick around to find out more. Okay, my last couple of rides I've noticed I've been having a bit of bother with my brakes, especially my front one. I decided to investigate a little bit further, and when I was looking on my Strava app I noticed at my last service we didn't change out my brake pads. I've done 3,000 kilometres, which is roughly about 1,900 miles, and I've came to the conclusion that the brake pads are definitely needing changed. After looking at them, they're pretty worn. I decided to tackle this job myself. It's something I've never done before, so I had to do a little bit of research online, and it looks a pretty straightforward procedure. I also found in my last ride that my Garmin headset was coming up with a notification of a low battery indicator. Now there's only two devices that uses batteries that are interchangeable. These are my heart rate monitor and my Duotrap sensor, which is a speed and cadence sensor. It's actually on the bike. It's roughly every 6 months I've got to change that battery, so I'm presuming that's what it is. We'll do that after we've changed the brakes. I wasn't too sure which brake pads to buy, so I had to go onto the Trek website, and it's quite handy because there's a list of components that comes standard with the bike and stock. Looking on this list, I found that the brake pads I needed was the Shimano B series. Now that was a bit vague to me because I wasn't too sure what brake pads it was. After doing a little bit more research, I found these B05S pads, and apparently these are compatible with my bike. There was other brands that I could have used. It's just Shimano stuff that I've known to use, so that's what usually goes on the bike. The tools I'm going to have to use for this job are as follows: needle nose pliers. I'm going to need my torque wrench to get the wheel off. I'm probably going to have to use my Allen keys at some point to adjust the pads once I've put them on. Let's have a look and see if we can change out these pads. I'm going to tackle the front brake first because this is the one that I noticed the considerable distance in stopping. Now looking at the back here, I can see the pin that holds it all together. I need to bend this small pin back, and this will get the spring and the old pads out, and they definitely need change because there's very little left of them. I'm just using the needle nose pliers to obviously bend this straight, and I'm trying to watch that I don't damage any other component when I'm doing this. And then I'm going to use my smallest Allen key just to hook and loop the pin and take the old pin out. I'm then just going to use the same Allen key again, and I'm going to push out the spring of the old pads, and that will release the old pads for me. Yeah, they're pretty worn. So let's open up the Shimano B05S brake pads to see what's actually in the box. Contained in the box is two brake pads, your spring to hold your pads, and a couple of pins. We just put the brake pads on top so that the spring is on the inside so that it locks in. Squeeze the pads together, and then we're going to pop the pads back in until we're round about the pin hole. We're going to slip the new pin in like so. Then we'll take our needle nose pliers, and there's a little long bit and a little short bit. Use our Allen key just to pull the pin back a little bit, and then we're just going to bend that back to hold it in place. So once we reattach our wheel, we've just got to make sure that there's enough space between the brake rotor and the brake pads. So we'll tighten the wheel up and we'll have a little look at that. So using my torque wrench, we'll just tighten that fully now. And that is definitely 100 times better than what it was before. So that's me successfully installed the front brake pads, and I didn't have to do any adjustment either. Obviously I need to do a road test to make sure everything is okay, but looking at that, there's no more adjustment I need to do. I now need to do the back wheel. Now this will just be the exact same process as before. Set up and prepare them. Insert the brake pads at the back. Then we'll take our pin, insert the pin into the hole, just hold that pin in position, and we'll take our needle nose pliers and we'll bend the pin so it doesn't come out. And that's the installation of the brake pads. And that's the back brake pads installed successfully as well. Before I put the back wheel onto it, I'm going to flip the bike round about, and the reason I'm going to do that is it's easier to access my speed and cadence sensor. So let's get a look at that now. This is a Duotrap speed and cadence sensor. Now the idea behind this will pick up my revolutions per minute from my pedals, and you can see in the back here, this is actually a magnetic sensor that passes. Every time it passes this sensor, it picks up what my pedals are doing. There's also a small magnetic sensor on my back wheel as well that triggers the speed side of things. Now, as I said, it's easier with the back wheel off to get this out of the actual frame of the bike to change the battery. So that's what I'm going to do just now. It is quite a fiddly bit to get into, and this is the reason that I do it with the back wheel off, because it's a lot easier to get it off the bike because it actually slides out. But once you've got the sensor off, you've got to take the little rubber grommet off, and that will give you access to get to the battery compartment. You just need to use a coin or a key to open this up and then change the battery over. And the good thing about it is it uses a CR2032 battery. This is a battery that's most common for car keys, so there's usually one lying about the house in a drawer somewhere. So we just need to switch this over. And then to install it, all you do is you pop it into the little cavity, and then we use our Allen key just to tighten it in. Well, that's us got to the end of another video. I'd just like to thank you all for sticking around watching today's video. I think the biggest things I've learned today is a small job like changing your brake pads is quite an easy one to do, especially on mechanical brakes, and it's a job I'm now confident I can do in the future, and I hope you guys watching along, you might be able to do it too. If you liked today's video, give us a big thumbs up, and if you really liked it, hit that subscribe button, because your subscribing keeps me riding. I'm going to go and get washed up now because I've got a bit of oil in my hands, but I hope to see you in the next one. In the meantime, you can check out one of my other adventures, or you can even check out this playlist. Bye for now.